Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are about to be joined with Henry and Holly of VideoHole episode 1. This game looks crazy fun and amazing. Hello, Henry and Holly. Welcome so much. So excited to have you here. Please give us a couple sentences. How would you describe this game before we check out the trailer?
VideoHole is a first-person narrative adventure game, and it's basically a coming-of-age story for those of us who should have come of age about 10 years ago.
All right, that's great. Well, let's take a look at this trailer and see this craziness. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, Kevin, what do you think of when you think of this trailer?
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster video?
Sorry, that's the first thing. So I worked at a Blockbuster video back when I was but a Wii alchemist, and so when I saw this, the first, I think we saw it during the hype hour a couple weeks ago. I remember going, I know that life, and then the rest of the trailer happens, and it's like, oh, this has got so much more trippy. So I'm kind of dying to know, like, what was your inspiration, Henry and Holly, for creating this game?
So I started off as kind of just a solo developer before I brought Holly on, and I was working at a health food store and just doing the checkout counter and having a lot of very pensive, relaxing days where the sun was just kind of casting long shadows through the store and nobody was really there, and just kind of, soaking in the atmosphere of the retail environment. And I'm glad you brought up Blockbuster, because I looked up a lot of images of Blockbuster to get, to really nail that aesthetic down.
My hometown has the very last Blockbuster video. There's still one.
Wow.
The last
Do you ever
bastion.
go?
I have. I went the last time I was home. You have to now pay $5 for them to give you a physical card, like a little Blockbuster card, because people use them as like little mementos now. But yeah, it's still the same Blockbuster I grew up with, know and love. So who did the art for this game?
That would be Henry.
Yep. That's
Wow.
yeah, just kind of low poly, flat shaded. It's kind of what the vibe is supposed to be.
It's a very distinct vibe, and we have Kenley, thank you, or sorry, we have Stephazoid, thank you for playing the game for us. I totally switched them in my mind the last time as well. And so what are we looking at here? Where do we start in the game?
You start out in your well, first you had this little kind of intro dream sequence that you just saw, and then it starts you out inside your little neighborhood that I guess you live in, and yeah, this is your house, your little studio apartment, I guess you could say, and you just spend a tiny little segment here that's got some flavor text and stuff before you head through this to get to the video store.
Yep. You're late to work. You wake up from a weird dream. Your alarm's going. You don't really get the opportunity to really think about what your dream was about. And yeah, you head through your local TV portal and head on to work.
I hate when I'm running late to my local TV portal and just happen to miss the channel I need to be on. It's like, guess I'll have to wait for it to cycle back around. Now,
Forget
I'm
your
seeing
remote.
This, right? Now, I'm seeing this lemon And this lemon has a very distinct mustache. And Henry, I have to ask, I'm sorry, the question was also put in chat, so I don't feel bad about asking. Was your mustache used for the inspiration for this lemon's mustache?
No, I think it was a subconscious Mr. Peanut reference. I must have been.
Oh, I see it now.
I think it was around the time Baby Nut was introduced, and I was just thinking a lot about planters.
Got peanuts on the brain?
I guess so.
So what is the core type of gameplay here? We're running around, we're talking with people. Are there mini games? What are we gonna see?
I call it closer to a visual novel with a first-person interface rather than anything else. There's some light puzzling. You get items that allow you to open doors and do different things, but the focus isn't really puzzle solving. It's kind of just taking in the environment, meeting the characters, and poking around.
Do you have any favorite characters that you've created?
Personally, I like all of them. They're all my babies, I guess. But I really like this character you're about to meet, Gabby. I think she sort of reminds me of a friend that I had who I was also working in the service industry with, who was, really stoked on, being in a band and stuff, and just really positive. So I definitely have a soft spot for Gabby, for sure.
Oh, Gabby is very cute. I love the long legs.
One interesting thing I just noticed was the save point is kind of is an old school telephone. But I noticed that when you don't save your game, there's kind of some unique dialogue there. With this being a narrative driven game, how much time did it take to kind of come up with all of the different narrative threads, and how difficult was it to weave them in such a way that your players couldn't accidentally skip a chunk of the story?
I'm not sure, honestly, if we ever got there. I feel like you still could very easily skip parts of the story if you, I don't know, my whole thing with that is the game only really is going to work if you're into it and into the story, and if you find yourself interested in looking through all the narrative selections. So, I mean, you could probably speed through this game and I think I saw someone on YouTube do it in 5 minutes. So
wow.
I mean, it's possible, but really it just kind of is inviting you to, explore and find because there's all sorts of narrative threads you can miss. But as far as how long it took, I mean, yeah, a year of just going really slow and kind of just iterating over and over again, and yeah, pretty much.
And when was this first starting to be developed? Sorry, go ahead.
I first started developing, it was probably 2 years ago, but it's been a lot of off and on, finding out what we're even trying to make, because, starting off, okay, you work at a video store. What do you do in the video store? I guess you talk to people, and it's sort of, we make something, realize that that's not really a game. That was, somebody would spend 5 seconds with that, and it would be a not very compelling experience. And then you kind of add on to it, and eventually it kind of sprawls out to where there's different environments, and there's a little train that you can hop on and go to different asteroids. And I would say now that we know what the game is, episode 2 will take a lot less time.
Here's hoping.
How many are you planning to make, or do you not know yet?
I think
at least 3.
Yeah.
A good trilogy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That seems pretty appealing.
The boss removed the toilet? Me and him gonna fight.
Yeah, what was
I'm already
that?
having issues. The boss apparently removed the toilet, so me and Mr. Lemonhead over there are gonna have to have some words because I feel like that is not a safe working environment.
No, I think not at all.
He plays it pretty fast and loose.
Oh, okay. So there's like little mini tasks and things for you to do as you go around here.
Yeah, sure.
Actually
It's
throwing away trash.
yeah. I think there's a lot of like kind of quote unquote errands you run for characters, and pretty much just to kind of push you into new areas where you can talk to new people. So there's stuff like that.
Yeah. All the conversations are sort of gated by something that the player does. So if you want more dialogue, you do a little interaction, solve a little puzzle, something like that.
I love that. I love really basic, soothing things like putting trash away in games.
Yeah.
It's one of my
And you get
favorite
an
parts about
achievement.
Mara.
So
Yeah. Who doesn't love achievements?
you are the trash
What has
master.
been one of the greatest challenges in the development process for you?
For me, it's been learning how to make a game. I didn't do computer science or anything. I learned how to code kind of through the internet, a couple years ago, and wanted to make this game, and it took longer than it should have because I just needed to learn how to use Unity, needed to learn how to, do stuff like how do you save a game? That's kind of involved. There's a lot of going on there that you have to look into. So every part of it, I was learning for the first time. So that was the hardest part. What about you, Holly?
I guess just doing something of this size. I don't think I've ever. I mean, I have, but like never really to completion. And I think it was just a huge exercise, and just obviously you're gonna build on something over and over again, but you can't just say like halfway through like, oh, I don't like any of that, scrap all of it, and I want to just start over on some completely new thing. And I think it was like really rewarding and really like helpful to me personally to like be able to have come so far and like be writing stuff that's just like, oh, that thing at the beginning looks like ridiculous compared to this. I can't believe I ever even wrote that, but like to still be working on the same thing. And it was really a huge stepping point for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, finishing things is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I definitely can empathize with that. Okay, so one of the things that I've actually really enjoyed so far from watching Steph play this game is some of the dialogue seems very, very snappy. Like, tell me a little bit more about how like that process kind of went along. Like, did you try to really focus more on like coming up with witty dialogue, or was it one of those things it just naturally happened as you were writing the story?
I mean, I've kind of been writing like forever. Like I was in writing before I even thought about getting into game dev in any capacity, and it's been really cool to realize that like my particular kind of style and experience with that is really enjoyable to do in video games. But when I'm writing, I guess it's just I'm just trying to make things that are like more true to life, and not really aggrandizing anything, or I sometimes what I do is like, if people ever ask me, it's like, oh, what's your inspiration? It's like sometimes I literally just scroll through my text messages and like use that as an influence, like to write like things I've said to my friends or things my friends have said to me. So I'm just trying to make stuff that seems like intimate and sincere, and if it comes out as witty, like that's great. But it's mostly just trying to come up with something that like people can relate to and make them feel like they are cozy here in this cozy little video game. But yeah, I mean, also like, you know, also trying to make people laugh, because that's just kind of, I guess, the kind of person I am.
We found an avocado. This is giving me so many absurdist VeggieTale vibes now. I love it. I love it so much.
I've never heard the VeggieTales comparison. I love that.
This
So
formative.
there've been
I
a
think
couple of
Holly always calls them Katamari people.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can definitely see that influence too.
no fall damage. Good thing to note. So, in looking at some of the dialogue trees, I imagine when you're writing something and you're crafting something along these lines, creating those dialogue trees can end up kind of getting sometimes out of control, because, you know, for every split that you have to have a split. You know, the story goes
Right.
different ways. How many
Sure.
of those did you have to in your head go like, okay, as much as I would love to branch these things out, at some point I gotta kind of start bringing them back
Yeah.
together?
How much did I have to like rein it in? Yeah, I don't know. I think like your reach is always like longer than your grasp, to use an old cliche. And I would sit there and, you know, just on a Word document, I'd be like, oh, we can do all these things. You know, I want these to feel like real characters as much as possible. But definitely towards like pivotal story points, when, you know, I'm trying to refresh dialogue for each character, you know, as something big happens, that comes a point that you got to rein it in, not even just on a creative standpoint, but on a technical one too, because it's just like everything's going every direction, just like you said. So yeah, I don't think you can ever really, you know, get all that you want to there with the dialogue. But I feel like the characters, you know, by my standard, are pretty realized. And if you talk to them again after you've talked to them once, you usually will get like a bunch of trees where you can talk to them about whatever, and there's like little Easter eggs to discover. So definitely towards the end had to start reeling them in, but like at first I definitely tried to do as much as possible.
So piggybacking off of that. Oh, sorry.
The basic structure is kind of like we have a few key points of information that we need to convey. Here's where you are in the story. This is where I'm pointing you to get the next clue, or where I want you to go. And then you can talk to them again, and then you get a big old, you know, what's on your mind? What do you got going on? And then you can kind of dive deeper into their, you know, what they're up to.
Gotcha. So kind of piggybacking off that, since this is VideoHole episode 1, and you said there are going to be 2 more, how important was it for you to kind of like, in bringing those things in, to go, okay, well, these are all the different choices we can have. In episode 2, I need to be able to remember that these are the parts that the player chose in episode 1, or is that something that it kind of each episode will kind of start over fresh?
I think if you play to the end of the game, you'll kind of see how that's like not to spoil anything, but maybe that's not as big of an issue.
Gotcha.
It is kind of, you know, the interactions you've had with the characters in this game, you know, they are going to be, just understanding them is going to be important to your experience in VideoHole episode 2, but not so much the actual choices that you made. Like it's very, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you at the end of the game, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah,
It seems
it's
like a
more
great development decision.
Yeah, for sure. It's more of how you want to present yourself in the narrative rather than, you know, the impact that you want to make. You know, how would you behave with these characters, and how would you want to interact with them? So if you're mean to them, they'll be, you know, hurt, but they'll you know, still tell you the main bits of information you need to get to the end of the story. But you know, you wouldn't do that, right? You wouldn't be a mean person.
Never.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. The completionist in me is going to play through one way and be saccharine, and then play through another time and just be epitome spawn of evil, just so that I can see how things are different. But that's me. I'm broken. My brain. I'm that person who plays games that have that morality. And it's like, okay, first time through, I'm going to be a superhero and a paragon of goodness. And did that guy just insult my hat? Okay, quick save, kill everybody in the town, reload the quick save, continue on. But that
reminds me of Fable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So another question we got from chat is, how did the community kind of help, like, in learning how to make this first game? Because I know you know, obviously this is through the Seattle Indies Expo, and I would assume that you kind of had some contact with people within the Seattle Indies community. How did that community kind of help you with working on this game?
I'm actually new to Seattle. I moved here probably 4 months ago, and I was hoping to thank you. I was hoping to use this event as a way to meet people. I mean, with COVID and all that, you can't really you know, have many intuitive opportunities to you know, start a conversation with somebody and get involved in a community. So this is my effort. I think we developed this game primarily in Atlanta, Georgia, and Holly's still there. So we've got some good friends in Atlanta, and it's a small but tight-knit community. And also, you know, this was primarily made during COVID, so we didn't get much feedback from many people either. You know, maybe a couple times. That's what I want to do differently in the future, is have more people play it, because I only know 2 people that even own PCs, and so it's kind of hard to get feedback.
Wow. I have one. So I'll give you feedback.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Seattle and Seattle Indies. You've been given an official shout out and welcome by Seattle Indies, and we look forward to having you as a part of the community. It is such a wonderful group of people, and yeah, having that feedback is really crucial. More trash is being picked up and cleaned up. I love this. We're teaching our youth good things.
So I have to ask, how did you come up with the video titles? Because some of those video titles are spectacular, and I really just want to, even our person who's playtesting it kind of got to a point when they were playing it where they saw a title and you could tell that they were actively like, this is a thing that I am paying attention. Matter of fact, I think I just got to know, like, how? If you
examine the little signs above the videos, there's little subtitles for all the video titles. But go ahead, Henry, with what you were saying about.
So I made them all in bulk and just kind of wanted to get it out of the way, because I needed to populate the store with stuff that makes it feel like a video store. So most of them are just thinking of a movie and then thinking of words that are different words for the same title. I think there's there's like Sword Jogger. It's a Blade Runner reference. Got
I get it.
Got Smart Sharks. I think Smart Sharks is my favorite, but that's Deep Blue Sea. One of my favorite movies of all time, Deep Blue Sea. But yeah, it's just, you get yourself in that mindset and you decide that you have to make 30 or 40 videos, and you just do it.
I love it. Are there any, can you give us like one Easter egg or something in the game that might be kind of hard for people to find?
Oh yeah, go to the bookcase behind you.
If Steph is watching. Here, let me type to Steph.
So, again,
we'll see. We're on a bit of a delay, but
yeah.
If not, maybe you could explain it to us.
Yeah, there's
Hey,
yeah.
cat.
yeah. She was trying to get up in the stream.
I think we're headed back to that bookcase right now.
And,
there we go.
and click on the green book. There's a little bit of
Yeah,
a
there
little
we
bit
go.
of insight into the boss's the boss's
Ooh.
hobbies.
He's an otaku.
So this is his
Yeah.
secret journal,
Oh.
and you
He's a
think
huge
that
otaku.
he's just a cold-hearted business machine. Doesn't care about anything else, but he likes to keep
Super into manga.
his interests secret.
I
For
love
sure.
it. Okay, well, that is the last little secret we're gonna have to have for today. Thank you so much for showing us that right before we have to take a break. But let us know where we can find more about the game and a little bit about where we can find you before we take a break.
It's available on Steam and itch.io. It's called VideoHole Episode 1. And our two-person development thing is called JofiSoft. And
JofiSoft.
we're on
Okay.
Twitter. Yeah, JoFiSoft. JofiSoft.
Well, great.
We're on
Thank you
Twitter.
so much, Henry and Holly, for joining us today. It was lovely to learn more about your
you.
game. I can't wait to play it. I will message you after. I'll help you some play testing. And
Cool.
I hope you have a great rest of your day. Before we run away to another break, though, I just want to